Okay, so like everyone's talking about Bitcoin, right?
Yeah,
And like it's this whole future of money thing.
right.
But to be honest, I think a lot of people are just hearing like headlines
Yeah, for sure.
and not really getting the whole picture.
Absolutely. It can be
So
confusing.
that's kind of what we're doing today, right? Like
Yeah,
a deep dive to really understand it.
exactly.
So we're going to be looking at the Bitcoin Standard,
Okay.
which is like this book that goes way deeper than like just the hype.
Yeah, it looks at the whole economic theory behind Bitcoin.
Yeah, which I think is really important.
It's crucial for actually understanding it.
So to really get this, like, we need to go back in time a bit, right?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about money itself, like the stuff we use every day.
Right,
You
right.
know, like what even is money?
Well, I mean, think about it. Like, way back in the day, people used shells, beads, even like giant stones.
Wow, giant
Yes,
stones.
and those things had value because they were scarce,
Right.
right?
Oh, I see.
And durable, like they wouldn't just like disappear.
Makes sense.
They solved a problem, you know? Imagine trying to like barter for everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like a ton of chickens for a new plow, it'd be a nightmare.
That'd be a total logistical nightmare.
Exactly. Not very efficient.
So then what happened?
Well, eventually gold kind of changed the game.
Gold, right.
Gold had everything you wanted in money. Scarce. Check. Divisible. Check.
Portable.
Portable. Plus, it held its value over time.
Yeah, that's key.
For centuries, it really was the gold standard.
Literally the gold standard.
Exactly.
So then how does Bitcoin fit into this?
Right. That's the big question.
We go from like shiny rocks to digital what?
Haha. Yeah. Well, in a way, Bitcoin is kind of replicating those qualities of good money,
Oh, okay.
but digitally. It's like a digital gold, right?
Yeah, it's like gold, huh?
So its supply is limited, just like gold.
Got it.
So that ensures its scarcity.
Scarcity check.
But here's the really crazy part. It's decentralized.
It's central.
Like no single government or bank controls it.
Wow. Okay, so who does?
Well, it runs on this global network of computers.
Oh, right, I've heard of that.
It's called a blockchain.
Blockchain.
And that network basically verifies all the transactions.
And it keeps the whole thing secure.
Exactly.
Blockchain. People throw that word around so much.
They do.
But what does it actually, like, mean?
So imagine a public ledger.
Okay.
But instead of being in one place, it's copied across thousands of computers.
Wow.
So each block in the chain records these transactions.
Okay.
And they're all linked together cryptographically.
Sounds complicated.
It is, but that's what makes it basically tamper-proof.
So you're saying that no one can just, like, hack in and mess with it?
Pretty much, yeah. It's super secure because it's all over the place.
Okay, so that makes sense.
And that decentralized structure is what makes Bitcoin so revolutionary.
So, okay. In the Bitcoin standard, they're saying that this could all lead to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Actually becoming, like, the form of money.
Yeah. That's the argument.
That's a huge claim.
It is a bold claim.
So how do they back that up?
Well, the book says, imagine a world where money isn't controlled by, like, governments anymore.
Okay, yeah.
And it's not susceptible to inflation.
Which is a huge problem these days.
It is. Like, governments can't just print more Bitcoin whenever they want.
Right, because the supply is fixed.
Exactly. That's the potential of a Bitcoin standard.
But the book also talks about the downsides.
Right. Absolutely. It doesn't shy away from the challenges at all.
Because, I mean, Bitcoin has been crazy volatile, right?
It has. That's definitely a hurdle to overcome.
Like, what if its price just crashes?
That's a real concern.
What happens then?
Well, some of that volatility is because it's still pretty new, right?
And there's a lot of speculation.
Exactly. People are buying and selling like crazy, trying to make a quick buck. But as more people start using it,
Like for actual transactions.
yeah, for everyday stuff,
Right.
then that volatility should decrease.
Makes sense.
Plus, its limited supply kind of acts as a counterbalance.
Like a built-in safeguard.
Yeah, exactly.
So it can't just completely lose its value long term.
Exactly. At least that's the theory.
Okay, but what about the energy use?
Oh, right. Bitcoin mining.
People say it's terrible for the environment.
Yeah, that's a legitimate concern.
So, like, how does the book address that?
Well, it points out that mining technology is constantly evolving.
So it's getting more efficient.
Exactly. And more miners are switching to renewable energy sources.
Right, that's good.
Right. And the book also argues that the current financial system, like with all the banks and stuff, actually uses a ton of energy too.
Yeah, I guess I never thought of that.
So it's not like Bitcoin is uniquely bad.
Okay, that's a good point.
It's more a matter of like weighing the costs and benefits.
And the benefit is a secure, decentralized system.
Exactly.
Okay, but what about scaling.
Ah, yeah, that's another big one.
Can Bitcoin actually handle, like, millions of transactions?
Well, that's where things like the Lightning Network come in.
Lightning Network.
It's basically a layer on top of Bitcoin.
Like an add-on.
Yeah. And it makes transactions faster and cheaper.
Oh, interesting.
So it takes a lot of the load off the main blockchain.
Makes sense. So it can handle more transactions.
Exactly. It's still being developed, but it has a lot of promise.
That's great. This has been super helpful.
It's a complex topic.
So why should our listeners care about all this?
Well, the Bitcoin standard makes us think about money in a whole new way.
Right.
Like, what if we didn't have to rely on governments or banks?
What if money was really in the hands of the people?
Exactly.
That's a powerful idea.
Whether Bitcoin becomes the standard or not, these ideas are going to be important.
As we move into, like, a more digital world.
For sure.
Totally. Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
I think the biggest question is, what if this Bitcoin standard really did happen?
Yeah.
Like, how would it change your everyday life?
How would we save money?
How would we spend it?
Would we even think about value in the same way?
It's something worth pondering.
Totally. Well, thank you so much for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
It's been awesome. And for everyone listening, keep those questions in mind.
Yeah, keep thinking critically.
And we'll see you next time.
See ya.